We're most likely going to see interviews by all the Tory leader contenders over the next coming weeks as they try and get their messages out and pitch to the Tory membership. Today's turn was that of Mel Stride. Unlike yesterday where Robert Jenrick was still doing his best to inflame tensions, Mel Stride today has taken a bit more of a moderate approach. However, saying that, it didn't stop him attacking Robert Jenrick for his choice of language. Sky News did its best to really draw out the attack lines, but Stride did his utmost to keep it calm and collected, but yet also condemn his fellow rival. He also took potshots at Nigel Farrage, which is about time in my opinion. Starmer wasn't going to be drawn out on it when he did his press conference last week, because, I don't know, maybe there's operations and plans in place to actually tackle this when Parliament's resitting, but at least I hope there is, because it's about time people like this are called out for what they're doing. People like Farrage, GB News, Jenrick, Anderson, Patel, they all need to be held account for their active role in stoking tensions of these riots, instead of doing their utmost to calm people down.
Was your fellow leadership candidate, Robert Jenrick, on this show an example of someone who wasn't moderate enough and supportive of enough?
Well, I think you might be referring to the remarks that Robert made about
I'll read
the
them
use of
precisely.
the term.
He said, I thought it was quite wrong that somebody could shout Allahu Akbar on the streets of London and not be immediately arrested.
Well, I would disagree with that position, because I don't think that in all circumstances that somebody shouts that term on a street in London, they should immediately be arrested. Now, that doesn't detract from the fact that where there is clear intimidation, where there is clear incitement to violence, engagement in violence, etc., that there shouldn't be a robust response. And Robert and I are in total agreement in terms of not tolerating any of that kind of behaviour. I think one element of this debate that has been skated over and shouldn't have been actually are the remarks made by Nigel Farrage, for example, when the terrible incident in Southport first occurred. His suggestion that the police might have not been telling the truth about that situation, I think, helped fuel conspiracy theories around what was happening, was deeply unhelpful. I think linking what happened in Southport with the terrible incident that happened regarding a uniformed soldier in Kent over the last week is also a very unfortunate linkage, and particularly suggesting that perhaps terrorism might have been involved when the authorities are saying that it hasn't. And I think those things are examples of the kind of language and interventions that at a moment of crisis are deeply unhelpful. And I think that's why we need level heads and moderation, as well as very firm action. And we have seen very firm action.
That's very interesting to hear you say that as regards to some things Nigel Farage said. But just to come back to the line from Robert Jenrick, I mean, your comment there that followed it was to say, I don't think in all circumstances saying Allahu Akbar should be seen as wrong. Surely it's the other way around entirely, that in very, very few circumstances where there are a lot of other factors at play, it can be something that could even vaguely be considered to be in the wrong. Your statement to Sky News yesterday, I said, I think the suggestion of wholesale criminalisation of the words Allahu Akbar is unwise and insensitive. You don't want to go further than that?
Well, no, what I'm saying, Wilf, is very clear, is I just don't agree with the statement that says that effectively under all circumstances where somebody shouts those words that translate as God is great or God is the greatest, that they should be immediately arrested. I just don't think that is an appropriate position to take. I've made my statement about what I think the situation should be around this particular issue of the use of that language on the street. I don't think it should automatically lead to an arrest. I accept, of course, there are certain circumstances or contexts in which, for example, that language might be being used at the same time as a number of illegal and unlawful actions being taken. And then, of course, arrest might be appropriate. But the term itself is typically used within Islam in a gentle and positive way. It's used within the process of religious observance. It's often used as a positive statement in itself. So I don't think we should be in a position where we're saying, well, anybody who uses those words on the street in London, shouting, to be fair, was the term used, should automatically be arrested. I just don't think that is an appropriate position to take. Now, I've made that position clear, and I really say no more than that.
Mel Stride might be the moderate head that Tory party needs in order for it to rebuild, but I don't think he's crazy enough for the Conservative membership. The leadership race also has a yellow card system, where if their attacks get too personal, then they're going to be called out for it. However, if you haven't seen the comments that Jenrick was making, then you can catch all that in the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.